The University of New England has cut ties with a researcher who recently came under fire for claims he's made about maple syrup. UNE hired Dr. Seeram to lead their pharmacy school in January, but today they told us he is no longer working there.
They did say, however, that his leave has nothing to do with claims about the quality or validity of his research. Our Pearl Small took a look at what research was and how local maple producers and researchers themselves felt about it.
This for me is about family and taking care of the land that I grew up on.
Joshua Waterhouse turned his childhood hobby of brewing maple syrup in pots and pans with his grandparents to a full-scale operation in Hollis.
I'm very proud to sell maple syrup.
As the owner of Waterhouse Family Farms, it's safe to say he knows a bit about the product he sells, which is why he was surprised to hear about research done by the former dean of pharmacy at the University of New England, Dr. Seeram.
What we found was mind-blowing.
Over several years, Dr. Seeram has claimed in press releases and videos that consuming pure maple syrup could help prevent serious health conditions like cardiovascular disease, cancer, and Alzheimer's.
It is a bit surprising that it is promoted to that level, but I really couldn't speak to that.
Right, yes.
It would be great if that was the case. How's that?
Not everyone was convinced. An investigation by the New York Times found that much of his research funding was coming from the Quebec maple syrup producers. They also found that in 2023, the association paid him $37,000 for PR activities. Maybe a conflict of interest.
Definitely a conflict of interest. I mean, I can't go to conferences today without people, before they start speaking, they have to put up their conflicts.
UMaine food science and human nutrition professor Mary Ellen Kamiri is familiar with Seeram's research and says a lot of it has innate flaws. One being that he only studied the extracts of maple syrup, not the product itself.
We don't eat extracts. We don't eat pure chemicals.
She says Dr. Seeram also seemed to go out of his way to promote maple syrup from Quebec, claiming he'd identified a unique compound and naming it Quebecol.
He didn't measure any other syrup. He didn't measure maple syrup from New Brunswick or Maine.
When asked about the claims, a representative from the Quebec maple syrup producers said they've been collaborating with researchers for 20 years, and the organization, quote, complies with the strict ethical standards applicable to this type of research. According to Kamiri, Seeram's research isn't entirely baseless. There are health benefits to maple syrup, but mostly only if used as a replacement for processed sugar. Waterhouse says he's actually shown customers how to use it as a healthy alternative for baking, but he doesn't believe he needs to take it much further in order to make a sale.
Maine maple syrup and Maine maple sugar, they really sell themselves. I think it's a great product. I think people put a lot of heart and soul into making that product and making it well.
In Hollis, Pearl Small, News Center, Maine.